I recently was going on dates with a man, and nice guy, good guy, treated me well.
I went on a date with this guy and he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over. And I was like, cool.
But once I realized that he was not my husband, because I'm only looking for husband energy at the moment, I ended things with him.
So I go to his place. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night.
Anyways, I sent him a text, told him that I didn't see it going any further.
And I'm like, are you gay? Like, what?
He agreed. He said that he didn't think that he could make me happy. And while I appreciate that, it was a very kind response, he didn't even try.
I just wanted him to like try and then for me to be like, no. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to sleep with him. Now I feel ugly.
Didn't even try and say that he like wanted to change, that he wanted to like whatever. Like, I can be manipulated. I will listen to you. But you didn't even try.
After 2 months of talking, I told this guy yesterday that I wasn't ready for a relationship, and he responded, "It's been great. I hope you have a good one." And then he blocked me. No effort, no pressure applied. I'm devastated.
There's a lot of memes on social media of women expressing that they want a man to fight for her, even when she's the one saying no. And it can seem the most obvious thing in the world to the women saying these things, but it's not at all obvious from the other side. Because in a world where men have largely internalized the message of no means no, for some reason we still have some women who expect a man to still pursue her after she says no. So in this video, I want to explore why such scenarios happen and why they make sense to some women, and what to do if you encounter a woman who has such an expectation. Now, firstly, I think it's very important to point out that it's not healthy women who think like this. Let's dig into the psychology of this a bit more. When we are children, we are absolutely dependent on the people who raise us and care for us, our parents. And the idea that they might abandon us strikes us with absolute fear. There's nothing worse in the world for a child than thinking their parents have abandoned them. Because if a child is abandoned, they would die. And instinctually, children know this. And those suffering from borderline personality disorder or having BPD traits develop those traits in a childhood in which they perceived that their parents' care wasn't completely reliable, that it wasn't something that they would know that's there. And so it might be something that they could lose at any moment. So as adults, they perceive the loss of relationships with the same emotion because part of them is still stuck in that childhood fear. It's the same neurosis that makes some women think that their partner should be able to know what they need without having to communicate like a fucking adult. But she isn't seeing it as a case of adults communicating and respecting each other's wishes, but instead it's a test of finding someone who will never abandon her, even when she asks him to. So how do you deal with a woman like this? Well, that's the best part. You don't have to. Some people really aren't capable of relationships until they've sorted their own issues out. If she is in the process of therapy, she may be capable of taking accountability and taking a step back and processing her emotions herself, rather than taking it out on you. There's a chance that you could work with someone like that. But if she's locked herself in her own personal hell, and the door is closed, and she's going about life all guns blazing, and whatever she feels is automatically the truth, then no, I don't think there's any hope there. Going further though, ask yourself, why would you ever tolerate being with someone who constantly throws the future of the relationship into question? Usually it's because the guy is pretty inexperienced with women and all of a sudden he's getting a lot of very passionate sex. And many borderlines invest a lot of focus into their sexuality in order to retain partners. But then they also destroy those relationships out of nowhere because they have such a low tolerance of the risk of being abandoned that even imagining you leaving them leads them to think, I better break up with this guy before he breaks up with me. So does that sound like a good deal to you? I really hope that everyone watching this video knows that they are worth more than that. And if you encounter a woman who wants you to fight for her, please remember that the one you're fighting isn't anyone but herself. Fight for me all too often just means fight me. Thank you very much for listening.